huge crowd. They started chanting, they're like, balding, balding. And I was like, God damn. I'd say it first was noticeable for me at like 16. Started to gradually notice it like towards like the temple area and like started to see a bit of like recession. I thought like, oh, did I just get like a bad haircut recently or something? I thought it was nothing at the time, and I was like, yeah, this seems a little early. Like I could see this happening a few years, but not now. And that was my second year in high school. Junior year, it was looking quite a bit worse. Like people are kind of noticing it a little bit. Like I remember like some biology teacher was talking about like genes or something, and my name got brought up because they were like, he looks like he's like 30 or something. He must have inherited that somehow. I played soccer in high school. Like I didn't really care. It was just kind of, oh, I'll deal with it when I'll deal with it. Until like we played our rival school, and it was like a huge crowd, and like they started chanting, they're like balding, balding, and I was like, God damn. So that's kind of when it started to be a lot more noticeable. There was kind of like a preview of that a few weeks before. We played like some other smaller school and they called me Caruso. That was like a smaller situation. But like this, like, yeah, it was a lot like that. I mean, it was like a huge crowd. I was like on the wing next to their student section. So like I was hearing it the most. It's whatever. I mean, I remember going back to the bench and they were like, you're right. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it's the way the game goes.
Where's your kind of mind at with the hair loss at that point?
I was thinking like maybe I should see what I can do about it. And I remember my dad was like addressing it before I was, and he was like, if you want, we can see the pediatrician and he can tell us what we can do and see if there's any options out there. And end of the season came like not too long after that. And so I went to this doctor and he was like, you can take some finasteride and I can give you some minoxidil and you can try that out for a little bit and just see how it goes. So I was like, I'm not really into that sort of thing, but I mean, I guess, what's going to have to happen. And I kind of just ignored it. And I was like, I'm just not going to take anything. I'm just going to let this fly for the rest of my last year of high school. And so I actually stopped taking it for a while.
Right.
And I didn't start again, until like the summer. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So you did have a try on the obviously the typical treatments and things that are out there, right? So you're trying that, and what was it like day to day? Because obviously it sounds like you were getting a lot of these comments and things, and obviously, as you know, like for a lot of people, it does kind of take a hit on the confidence, or they try to kind of hide it and things like that. Were you doing any of that kind of stuff?
I honestly feel like it kind of made me avoid like new social interactions at times, and
Right.
honestly, like avoid like being in pictures with people. Like I distinctly remember graduation. I was like, I just want to go, even though like most people are sticking around for like an hour to get like pictures. I was like I felt like I was like burdening other people. Like it sounds irrational now, and it's like it's so stupid. That's something that I genuinely thought about was like, how does it look in pictures? But I guess when it does happen, it's just something you think about.
Yeah.
But that was part of it, I guess. Like I guess I just kind of shut off myself a little bit socially, and I was just like, let's just ride this out for the time being and just see how the summer looks.
Yeah. And how did it play out from there then?
For a little bit, I was just like, let's just see like how I conceal this. For a brief period, I was doing the finasteride minoxidil. Eventually got to a point where I was like, I just don't care enough to continue with this. So I just stopped it altogether. I went to a barber shop and I was like, can I just get a one all around? And they did it. And I was like, I think this is the way to go. So,
Okay, awesome. Well, this is really interesting because, I get the sense like you always knew you could handle it. Would I be right in kind of assuming that?
I feel like I just didn't think about it much when I was younger. Like
Okay.
it was always just like even when I started losing it a little bit, I was like, it'll probably be slow. Like it's probably not gonna be anything noticeable for a while. But like when other people start noticing, you're like, okay, well, this is happening a little faster than I thought or would have liked. I guess like really, I was just at a point where I was like, I don't think this is, something I want to commit to fighting or dealing with, and I might as well just deal with it and just go this route. So
Where did that come from, do you think?
like I was already at a point where I was getting it cut a lot shorter, and I was like, at this point, I'm gonna have very little flexibility with what I want to do with it. And at that point, like I just remember going to a barber shop and I was like, I'm not ready to go down like a zero, like a shaver type length, but I want to try out a one where it's more of like a stubble to see how it looks. And I really liked it just right off the bat. And I was
Yeah.
like, this is just something I can stick with.
This is the way to go. Yeah. So talk to me about that then. So obviously the kind of the inspiration hits. So go and you're like, look, hit me with the one. And just describe, I guess, that initial reaction.
Yeah, I mean, I really liked it just right off the bat, and I just remember looking in the mirror, and I was like, I could really get down with this, and like, I didn't really feel like I had to, like wear hats or try to conceal it as much. Like I remember the next day, like going to the gym, like just, open, and it was packed, like all these people I know, and they're like, wow, like it looks good. Like I like this. Or people don't say anything at all because as some people will say, like nobody thinks about your hair more than you do. And I think that's very true. But like if anyone did say something, it was never negative. Like people were like, oh, wow, yeah, it looks great on you. It's a good look. It was a lot easier from that point on. And I remember like sending pictures to some of my friends. Like I was just a lot more comfortable just facing people again, just like realizing I had accepted it.
And I think a lot of people will be surprised, to hear that, like young guy, just kind of able to kind of go with the flow and not feel that pressure. Like I have to have this perfect hair. Again, kind of what is it about you and your situation that allowed you to just kind of accept it and know, like, I can totally handle this?
Well, I think before I was just like giving myself like unnecessary stress and just like giving myself more variables, like just constantly like checking to see if my hair looks right and pictures and things like that. And just like all I would be like, oh, is it gonna rain today or whatever? And just like constantly thinking about it. And it's like, do you really want to have those extra variables? It's really just, do you want to take that out of your life? And do you want to be able to be more comfortable with yourself and be able to face like just people again? Because for me, I feel like I was kind of robbing myself of social interaction and trying new things because I just like, I don't know, I was like, this doesn't feel like normal to, just go out like that all the time. Just because like you're always going to be thinking about it and always be
Right.
thinking about how it looks,
I can
especially when it's things like pictures. And so I was like, I need to be more comfortable, and this is the way to go.
When you look back at the steps that you took to kind of get to this point, is there something that sticks out for you, stands out that you did that somebody else could implement in their own journey, to also help them get to where you are now?
I would just say like just don't be afraid to acknowledge it. Like it's obviously not fun, and like you can always, sit there and make excuses and be like, oh, I'm sure it's nothing, or like, it happens. It's a part of life, and it's bound to happen to a lot of men. And I think also just coming at it with the perspective that like you're not the only person this has happened to, pretty common, can really help. And just acknowledging it in general and just understanding like that doesn't make you like any less of a man. Like it's the way things are. And you shouldn't beat yourself down because of that. And whatever decision you choose to take, like if you do choose to take options and try to treat it, I think that's respectable, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I think that if you're if you want to go all the way, that's the way to go. And that's why I tell a lot of men.
The true goal really is to get to the point where you don't stress about it and don't have it negatively impact your mind or have dictate how you interact with the world and people, right? I really think that that is the goal. Thank you so much for
Of
for
course,
sharing your experience, man. I really appreciate you getting in touch. And these are
absolutely.
always great chats to have. And I love putting these stories together, man. So thank you.